Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello, and welcome back to today's podcast. Thank you again for being here. We are going to have kind of a fun subject today. Even though I have no answers to this subject, it might be fun just to talk about it. But before I do that, I would like for you to share the podcast. If you guys have friends that are looking at wanting to get out of the bank, complaining about their finances, this is all good information for them. So, they might think that you're crazy, but all you got to do is share it. They already think you're crazy to some extent. Aren't we all? Okay. Thank you again for being here. I really do appreciate you guys coming back every week or binging. So many people are binging, and I think it's awesome. I had asked my clients what they want to hear and what I have possibly not covered, what we need information on, all that good stuff. And so, you guys, I really want this podcast to be informational, and I really try hard to make every one of these podcasts worth your time. So if there are things that you want me to talk about, let me know. A lot of times I have covered them already. And so I'm trying not to cover the same thing more than once. But if there is something that is not being answered, please let me know. So I had a client that said, what I would like to hear is, how do I get my 20-year-olds to listen to you, to read the book, to even listen to the book? I've bought the book. I've bought the audio. I'm trying to get them to see the light. But because we raised them to invest money in the market, they think we're backing out on our information that we gave them. I think it's an awesome question, because how do we get the 20-year-olds to pay attention? Now, you guys if you've listened to me, I love my 20-year-olds. I love that millennial generation, because they are paying attention. Not all of them, but there are a lot of them that are paying attention, because I am meeting with them weekly. Just yesterday, before this recording, I met with a 23-year-old who got dad and uncle on board. Okay. So that's a hard sell that way too. And I shouldn't call it a sell, but to sell somebody just on listening to the information, and then they can make whatever decision it is that they want to make. But so many aren't even willing to listen. And we as parents maybe told them, save and pay with cash. And we maybe told them to invest in the market. And I've had a couple clients who were more of the Dave Ramsey type fans, and they've always paid cash for everything. And that's what they raised their kids to do. And now their kids also are in the same situation as this other client, saying, hey, you're backing out on your word. But what they need to understand is that mom and dad are not always 100% perfect, right? We can admit when we're wrong as parents. And if you're 20 without teenagers, you really don't have a whole lot of room to tell me what's right or wrong, because you don't have teenagers. You don't have 20-year-olds. And so as we get older, we get smarter. And we have to understand that we are now seeing mom and dad, if they are in their 50s and 60s, they were raised in the era of 401ks and IRAs being the new thing. They didn't know any better. That generation was really the testing point. And now we've got the late 60-year-olds who are kind of at the start of it, So the 50-year-olds are sort of the first generation that had it from birth until now. The 65, 70, 75-year-olds, they were in their 30s, working years, when the 401k started, when the IRA started. And the market just took off. I mean, we were making 18% rates of return. Everything was great. And I talk about it a lot. My grandparents retired at the top of the market, and they passed away before the bottom hit. They were very fortunate to be in at the beginning and out before they saw the downturn. So when we are looking at the older generation, if you are younger or if you have younger kids, explain to them 401ks and IRAs did not start until 1974. That is 46 years ago. This is new. Traditional finance is new. That is 46 years is not long enough to prove anything. Life insurance is 140, 150, 200 years old. Yes, that old. That is proof that something is going to work. When people are dying at 98 years old and getting death benefit and the company is still around, that works. What does not work is something that is 46 years old and you go to Walmart and you see elderly people working not because they want to, but because they have to. This 401k system did not work for them. At retirement, it crashed. All these people that were retired in 08 and 09, a lot of them had to go back to work. A lot of people that were 4 or 5 years away from retirement got to keep working. These people are paying higher taxes. These are the things that are not being talked about within the 401k retirement scam, as I call it, because it's a huge scam. There is no proven anything. Our talking heads can say all day long that this is what's going to work. But if you are 20 years old and not believing your parents, it's because you aren't looking at the truth. They are admittingly saying this doesn't work because grandpa and grandma are struggling and they did this. This doesn't work because I tried it. I have an IRA that's 20 years old and I didn't make anything. I hardly have anything extra from what I put in. We have got to start trusting the people that have lived it. Now, there are always going to be those people that have to learn their way. They have to learn the hard way. They're not going to believe anybody because they're always going to be able to do it better. There you go. Do it better. If you are a client, and we've talked about estate planning, you know in my estate, it says any death benefit must be used to purchase more death benefit. If there is no death benefit being used, guess what? If they're just going to go use it to buy things, they don't get it. I am teaching financial independence. I am not teaching my child so that she can do what? Go live off of somebody else and hope and pray that the market is going to take care of her for retirement. No, it's very easy to train a child when they are in their teen years. It's hard to train a child when they are in their 20s. Because when they're living at home, you're all they know, right? That and the school system. My daughter is she's 15 and she's taking a finance class because I made her. Because I want to know what the school is teaching my kid. I want to know. Well, guess what? She's trading stock. Her finance teacher said, unless you go to school, you are not going to be able to be a millionaire. I got a text from her while she was in class. She was furious. because she knows she does not have to go to college to be a millionaire. And then we got to talk about, what is a millionaire? Is it somebody that has $1 million? Or is it somebody that's net worth is $1 million? Or is it somebody that makes $1 million every year? I don't know what this teacher was explaining as a millionaire. I would assume that he thinks a millionaire is somebody that has saved $1 million or their net worth is $1 million. Okay? So she's looking at that and saying, well, he's wrong because we have taught her you don't need to go to school to be wealthy. You don't need to have a 4-year degree. You can have a 4-year degree to be a doctor. That's fantastic. To be a nurse, to be an attorney. Yes, there are times when we absolutely need a degree. There is nothing wrong with that. But not everybody needs a degree. Bill Gates does not have a degree. You have plenty of millionaires and billionaires who do not have college degrees, many who are high school dropouts. And why? Because our school system didn't fit their narrative. So our children are not only being taught by us at home that, okay, yes, you need to pay cash for everything. You should not be in debt. You should invest in the 401k because that's all we knew in our 20s when we were raising you. We are now in our 50s understanding that we were misled. So 20-year-olds can choose to be misled or they can choose to learn from our mistake. I'm being a bit of a squirrel here, I know. I was a very stubborn, I still am if you ask certain people. I was a very stubborn individual, right? But I have learned through the years that why should I make all these mistakes myself? Why should I not learn from other people's mistakes? Why should I not at least pay attention to what other people are doing? If they've made that mistake, then look at the big picture of it, do my due diligence about it, and say, okay, maybe mom and dad are right. Because we have to understand, mom and dad made some mistakes. They are not trying to sell you anything. All they're trying to do is help you because they're seeing an opportunity that nobody else is going to share with you. And you need to understand, if you're in your 20s, that you are going to be the recipient of their new decision because they've bought in some life insurance. And you're going to get some death benefit, income tax free. And if they're really smart, they're going to say, if you don't understand what this the power of this death benefit, then why should I give it to you? If you've not paid attention, then why should I give it to you? Because mom and dad are trying to create generational wealth. And if not everybody understands what to do with that wealth, why do we want to leave it there? If you take people like the Rockefellers, there is generational wealth being passed on. And if the next generation does not understand it, they don't get to be part of it. Finance is not everybody's love, but we need to have an understanding when we're going to inherit hundreds of thousands of dollars. We need to understand what's going on. In the farming and ranching world, you better understand what you're inheriting because they worked really hard to build it. And if it's going to get passed off, we need to make sure we can save it. So we're 7, 8, 5 generations in. If we don't understand it, why should we get it? Would you leave somebody a car if they didn't know how to drive and had no desire to drive? No. Why would we leave somebody wealth if they have no desire to learn about it? How we get through to the generation not paying attention, that is a question I cannot answer. And I'm not going to say it's the 20-year-olds because there are lots of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s who aren't paying attention. So it's a There's always one generation that's not listening. If you're in your 50s and it's your 20s, I don't know how to get them to listen. If you're in your 20s and it's the 60-year-olds, I don't know how to get them to listen. Nelson said, "You hear the information when you are ready to hear it." I had thanked him many times for sharing this information and allowing me to share it with everybody. And he said, "Don't thank me, Mary Jo. You were ready to hear it. I was just here to provide it." If they're not ready to hear it and they're never ready to hear it and they're not open-minded about it, it's like talking to a brick wall. A lot of times, it is a little bit of information at a time, a little bit, until they finally connect something that says, "Oh, that makes sense." Or when they have a bunch of money in the stock market and the market crashes and nothing happened to our life insurance policy. Are they looking long-term? Are they looking short-term? This is a long-term look. We are all doing this for decades. We're not doing this for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, until we're 65. We're doing this for the rest of our life. Most people cannot even get their heads around that, right? Because nobody talks about what I have to do for the rest of my life. And who's feeding this generation that's not listening? Who's feeding them with information? A lot of times, your older generation is not being fed at all because they have the arrival syndrome. The younger generation is being fed by podcasts that are absolutely pay cash, penny savers, put money in the market. They're everywhere. Those people are everywhere. One question I would ask is, how are you going to have cash flow? How are you going to have cash flow to do anything? To create more cash flow? I talked to a couple people in the last week that have said, I had one yesterday, a 10-year mortgage, and they want to start a farm. Kudos to them. No debt. They have done amazing financially. No debt, sold their house, bought a farm, and they did a 10-year mortgage. They have a $2,300 a month payment. And I said, why did you do a 10-year mortgage? Well, we wanted it paid off as soon as we can. So you're going to pay $2,300 to the bank, and then if you need operating to start the farm or fix the barn, or they're going to do some VRBO stuff on the barn or on the farm. So when you do all that, you're going to possibly have to, what happens when you have to go to the bank and borrow the same money back that you just gave them in the house payment? If you would have done a 30-year mortgage and wanted it paid off in 10, you could have. But you would have had more cash flow to start your business. It wouldn't have been so tight on living expenses. But who's teaching our kids that? Nobody. Who taught the older generation that? Nobody, because the older generation is the victim of the market scam. They are the unfortunates of life insurance agents not teaching exactly what we have to offer. I'm not teaching anything new. I'm teaching what's been done for 200 years. It's just that there's very few of us and a lot of them. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to the market. Our school systems are teaching that you have to go to college, that you have to put money in the market. A 15-year-old trading in the market? That's crazy. That's great. They're teaching her how to get a job. They're teaching her how to dress. They're teaching her how to fill out an application. And she's not done with this class yet. And I'm excited to see, are they teaching her how to be an entrepreneur? Are they teaching her how to start a business? Are they teaching her about cash flow? Are they teaching her about financial independence? And how do we teach that? How does someone teach that if they've never done it themselves? This is what we're teaching our kids, to go and be good workers, Well, if there's no entrepreneurs, I have nobody to work for. We need them all. We need them all. There are entrepreneurial people that have been raised in a family of workers, of employees. They have no idea where to begin. Why are we not giving people that opportunity? Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. There is a reason we have colleges, right? But because all of us entrepreneurs need the employees. But why is our system not allowing the kids an opportunity to look at all of it? The moral of the story here, because I've blabbed on for 20 minutes about this, the kids need to understand that you didn't know any better because you were only told of one way. So of course, that's the way we thought was correct. But if they're not listening, if there is a generation not listening, it's because they have the arrival syndrome and they think they know it all and they are not ready. How you get them ready? I don't know. It's a good question. It's a question I can't answer on some of my own. I have 2 stepkids. They don't listen, right? They're in their 20s. They're not listening. So it's hard to get your 20-year-olds to listen. It's easy to get your teenagers to listen. When they're ready, I'm here. How do you get parents to listen? I don't know. I got some of those too. I don't always listen to them. And then there are times when I do, right? I've been through this whole remodel. Oh, you guys get to live my life a little through my podcast. Through our whole remodel, my mom is a contractor and she does staining, lacquering of wood, painting, all that kind of stuff. So she knows a bunch of contractors. She's in new houses and she's like, Mary Jo, you want custom cabinets? Mom, I don't really care if my cabinets are custom. Nope, you want custom cabinets. And it's just, she's constantly like, oh, you're not going to be happy with that. You're not going to be happy with that. I'm like, Mom, it's okay. I'll be fine. Right? And so finally, before I need to decide what I'm going to do, I research the boxed cabinets and the reviews were terrible. And I thought, oh my heavens, she's right. These are not good. Like, I've been told that they're good, but there's not a good review except the people that are selling them. So I call my mom. I'm like, all right, I'm doing custom cabinets, right? Same price. Didn't matter on price. I was just paying a whole lot of money for boxed cabinets that aren't going to match, that are going to have problems, that are going to have poor customer service, whatever. And she said, yep, I know, you should. Oh, I'm sure she just wanted to say, I told you so, child. Right? So it's not easy to get our 40-somethings to listen either. Parents do know what they're talking about. And if you don't believe them, do your due diligence and research it. I could have saved my mom a lot of sleepless nights if I'd have just researched it a long time ago and said, yep, Mom, you're right. And I'm not going to be happy with them. Okay, if you guys need a topic covered, please let me know. I really do need some help on what you want to hear. So please send me emails at maryjo@withoutthebank, and I'm happy to know what you want to hear. I'm happy to answer questions, all that good stuff. If you need anything else, you know where I'm at. If you've read the book, get on the calendar, get your appointment scheduled. If you've not ordered the book yet, what you waiting for? Grab it. Oh, and oh my gosh, the biggest news ever. Life Without the Bank is now active. You can go on to farmingwithoutthebank.com. You can grab Life Without the Bank. It is $5.99 plus shipping and handling right now as we do the introduction. Obviously, if you're listening to this in a year, that's not going to be the price. But right now, as we release it, $5.99 plus shipping and handling. So make sure you go ahead, get that. But if you need anything else, you guys know where I'm at. Good luck with the generation that is not listening. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.